Hello, beautiful people of Earth. I'm coming today with a collective message for you. The message today is regarding your divinity. I'm not sure what that means. I've just been receiving that message for a few days now and decided to let it be a collective reading. So that is what we're interpreting today, and we're going to have two piles to pick from as well. 1 and 2. And I just want to remind everyone, as you watch these videos or any really oracle video, understand that whatever resonates with you, take it with you. Whatever doesn't is fair game to leave where it's at, okay? If it doesn't apply to you, it doesn't change anything for you. Some people hear some messages and feel like the panic starts to speak a little bit louder than the intuition. If it doesn't feel easy, it's not for you, okay? If it doesn't feel right, it's not right. You know, that's your intuition. This is where we start trusting ourselves. So for look at that, for pile 1 we have ease. Okay, it's easy for me to receive, it's easy for me to receive, it's easy for me to receive. That's the first pile. And the second one is allowing. Wow, okay, so clear energy today. Allowing. Radical acceptance says yes to reality in any given moment, so what's needed can come next. Okay, ease and allowing. And then I'm going to add some crystals if you guys would like crystals to help you choose. With ease we have a fluorite chunk, and with allowing we have lapis lazuli. I'll give you 30 seconds here to choose, and we will see you in the messages. Okay, hello, pile number 1. We are going to be getting straight into your message. We have ease here once again, and 3 times over it says, it's easy for me to receive, okay? So, with that being said, the tarot cards of your message are the World, Knight of Swords, and 10 of Pentacles. Okay. I'm going to keep going with the oracles. We're going to just put out the whole message here and then interpret as we go. For oracle, we have life is mysterious and ultimately incomprehensible. Okay. Our habitual stories protect us from the mysteries of life. In the Isis oracle, we have portal of light. It is only the physical reality that is bound by time and space. You are a conscious being on levels beyond the physical world. You are guided to work with your healing powers beyond the confines of time and space. You will not become ungrounded through such spiritual work. You are not leaving your earthly connection behind. You are merely adding to it. Okay, so portal of light. And then these two I was going to use as sort of additional like directional cards. Anyways, they say dance, move to the rhythm of your soul, and transition, release attachments to what was and prepare for what is to come. Wow. Okay, first of all, this is a very, even though this card says ease, it's a very exciting time for you. So let's start with the World and the 10 of Pentacles. More than anything, we have the 2 images of the tree, okay? So this is trying to help you understand the structure of the transitions you're going to be going through. Sometimes we get to the next level in our journey and it's sort of intimidating, right? Going into anywhere that's not your comfort zone is always going to have some dis-ease, okay? It's going to be a little bit uncomfortable for a minute, but this next step for you is going to be, ultimately, it's going to be huge, okay? So you've been doing so much work, so much inner work that you are realizing that you are a portal of light. You are transitioning to this spiritually connected self. And sometimes people will okay, so I'm being called to talk about spiritual psychosis for a minute. So spiritual psychosis is something that happens when we don't have a structure to our reality. We're not grounded to our reality, right? Our physical reality. And spiritual truths can come to anyone, but it's best to be someone, if you're seeking spiritual truth, to have this grounding and to have this calm understanding, this ease surrounding what you believe the point of life is, okay? If you don't really feel purposeful just being, okay, so again, we're being called to look to the trees. Why are the trees here? And when we consider ourselves, we should consider nature. Why are the trees here? They're really, I mean, they're a part of nature. There's a lot of philosophy to get into, but the point is that we are just as grounded as the trees that are literally rooted in the dirt of earth, okay? So spending time with recognizing our connection to life will help us stay grounded when it comes to this spiritual evolution and transformation, because you won't feel it won't feel so drastic. I know, especially getting into the spiritual journey, leaving like the material world behind, okay, like society's standards, especially if you've been practicing those standards for a long time, it can be sort of ground shaking. It can cause, I think that's what this Knight of Swords is, that you're battling everything you've been told to do, because somewhere inside of you, your soul is like, hold on, like there's more to me. I think on the back of this, it said, you are a conscious being on levels beyond the physical world. A lot of this message has to do with breaking out of what you have been led to believe. Life is mysterious and ultimately incomprehensible. That means that we are done over defining our lives. We are done. There's someone I just heard this week, someone was talking about the debate between flat earthers and round earthers, and while it's an interesting debate, the point is that debate itself is used to keep us in a us versus them, each other mindset, okay? It keeps us focused on the 3D, on what's right versus what's wrong, factually or scientifically proven, right? A lot of spiritual wisdom comes from letting go of the laws of life, okay? And that's not breaking laws, that's just understanding that there's so many dimensions that our scientific world doesn't even validate. So, basically, it all comes down back to your root system, your own validation. You're bringing ease into your life because you are opening up to this grander perspective. And I'm not saying it's better or worse, scientific versus spiritual. I'm just saying they both can benefit to being open to each other. This is about open-mindedness and being intentional about what it is, not just to everything and everyone. You can be if that's what you need to do, but it's really being open to the parameters of light so that you can feel this portal of light that is coming to you. It's literally talking about expanding past time and space. What does that mean to you? And can you think about it and talk about it without trying to relate it to a movie or a fictional setting, okay? There's a lot of discourse about movies and sci-fi movies, but really those sci-fi movies are created by us humans in this reality, and we watch them in this reality, but we don't ever look around and validate the truths it might be holding about our reality. And again, not everything is visual, so sometimes there's a visual metaphor in a movie and you connect to it because intuitionally you know that that's true in some realm. You just spiritually need to get there. Also, your soul is a very beautiful orange color. You have this orange aura about you, which is kind of emanating like your solar plexus, your sacral chakra. Those colors are it's, and even the root chakra too is pretty present. So like, it starts with you grounding. Once again, it starts with you at the base, your root chakra. If you don't know about the energy system or your chakras, I suggest getting into some resources about it, because it can really help you understand the elemental spiritual science behind it. Okay, well, basically, the short version of it is that you have the root chakra, and when the root chakra is in balance, you feel connected. You feel rooted down to the earth. Okay, this is when you feel safe. You can turn off your flight or fight mode, and just exist completely in the 3D realm. You feel okay, and we're kind of talking about like the things that you must do to make that happen. Okay, that's kind of the inner work. You have to ground yourself. You can't wait for the world to be like easy to ground in. You just have to ground yourself. This is the inner work. Next up is the sacral chakra, which is kind of your passion, and it goes up, and they slowly transform into more. It's literally like different levels, different dimensions. You're going into different levels of understanding. First, you understand your physical, then you understand your passion, then you understand your fire and your heart and your throat and your third eye and your crown. It goes all the way up. It's just kind of showing that there is an elevation in awareness as far as energy, which again, spiritually and scientifically is valid, okay? Move to the rhythm of your soul. This is about liberation. This is coming to peace with life, truthfully, is what it all is about, is that you're coming to peace with life so you can enjoy it. You are taking out this bad energy. You're taking out whatever it is that keeps you stressed, okay? Whether it's okay, so you're a full person. You've got the 10 pentacles within your tree system, but you also have a fighting spirit, and so you tend to take on opinions or issues or people or problems that don't belong to you. Think about it at the end of the day, if it's going to, if you taking this fight on, if it's going to change the person's situation or the world, you know, is it going to change? Are you expending your light energy to a recipient that's willing to take it, or are they just going to keep fighting back with you? This is, I'm hearing a lot of coming out of defensive habits and just existing easily, right? Over here we have our habitual stories protect us from the mysteries of life. So once again, what habits are of ours are out of habit? What habits what habits do we do, and do they no longer serve us? Okay, so are you embarrassed to dance? Is one of your habits being habitually embarrassed? Can you get rid of being embarrassed so you can dance with your soul? There's just so much magic to letting go of embarrassment, and I will die on this hill. I'm pretty sure I bring it up in every reading, but embarrassment is a construct. It's literally a made-up emotion, and we only create it for each other, for ourselves even. So liberating yourself, this transition, it comes automatically. It comes as fast as light can travel, okay? If you turn the switch on, if you elevate into this mindset, and it's about being grounded in it. So it's not just, oh, I'm going to pick up this book and read it and try out a few things. You have to commit to your evolution, to your transformation. You have to sit with the hard stuff. This is no longer like a positive go-lucky message. It's a beautiful message. It's a very deep message, but it's going to take some inner work. You're going to have to liberate yourself by changing your perspective. The answer will not come from anywhere but you, from your higher self, from connecting with yourself and who you are outside of just what you see in the mirror and just by what the world perceives you as. The world, see? Exactly. So the world just has so much influence, and there's so many elemental pieces to this world that doesn't have to do with the smog that the human race creates, okay, metaphorically and physically. I think that's all I'm seeing for you today. I hope that you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you. I'm thanking your guides and mine for being here. And respect your divinity. Thank you. Have a good one. Hello, pile number 2. So we are getting right into your reading. First, we have allowing. Radical acceptance says yes to reality in any given moment, so what's needed can come next. So right off the bat, we're getting grounded energy and balanced energy, and also kind of like you're balanced because you're moving in all directions. You're not just trying to tip over to one side or anything anymore. We're going to just lay out all the cards and then go from there. 7 of Pentacles with a little bit of magic dust, fairy dust, Ace of Wands, and Queen of Swords. Okay, so I'm already getting like grounded in personality, feeling good within the self, okay? From the Isis Oracle, we have this message: soul retrieval. Isis, healing goddess, now offers you spiritual restoration and deep soul healing through the art of soul retrieval, reclaiming pieces of you lost through trauma, old and new. Soon you will enjoy greater wellness, energy, and power, so be willing to go through the healing process, knowing that any emotional clearing taking place is leading you to wholeness. Okay, so wholeness, that kind of goes right in with the Queen of Swords. Uncertainty about gender leads us to discovering masculinity and femininity. Okay, I'm so excited for this. And our emotions are in orbit like the planets. And then these two are naked, dare to bear all, and award, accept your well-earned praise. Wow, okay, so this might be someone, a lot of these cards kind of came up in the last reading last week, which is interesting. So if you were here last week and you're back again, hi. Okay, so overall, allowing, why is allowing going to be benefiting you and your divinity right now? It is connecting you back to who you are. When we are adults, I'm sure most of us here are, or we are people who have formed consciousness and personality, a lot of us start to understand that some of our personality came from the world, or came from someone else, came from our childhood, came from defending ourselves as children. And you start to kind of, when you get to understanding yourself, you start to get to peel those layers back of who you built as a mask and who you built to protect yourself, you know, your true inner self. So like who you are alone, this kind of single standing energy is kind of pretty prevalent in your reading of this, like being able to stand alone and just peel back your layers and see who's inside. That soul retrieval. Who were you as a 6-year-old? What did that version of you believe in? What did they admire? What did they get excited about or scream about? And if you don't remember, that's okay. A lot of us don't remember our childhoods at this point, but honestly, when you start to work towards just understanding that that child still exists, even if you don't remember them, they still exist. And if you don't know what they like, you can find out by experimenting and doing what you can to see what does pique your interest. There's a lot of childlike things that adults still do, and we consider it to be, you know, like adult things, but it kind of gives you clues onto what your inner child needs, who you need to be to come back to your soul. It's not even about being childlike necessarily, but being your truest form. Who are you if your child self had grown up without any negative influences, okay? Any harmful influences. Dare to bear all. So it seems like, again, we're peeling back the layers and we are learning what's underneath them. How when we allow ourselves to exist in that awkward and like quirky sense, you know what I mean? Zero embarrassment. I just talked about this in the first one and the last reading. Embarrassment's a construct. I'll say it again. I guess that's just my message. Embarrassment is a construct. You can't be embarrassed if you don't let yourself be. It's a made up feeling. We do it to each other. We keep ourselves locked in embarrassment when really there is no point of embarrassment. There is a point to holding people accountable for mistakes and crimes, obviously, but embarrassment of choices that really don't change the quality of life either way, it's made up. You don't have to waste any more time doing that. You get to stand alone, and anybody who's watching is just going to see this beautiful expression. And if they can't see it, you have to understand that's their perspective. No one has to look at a light and say, yes, that's light. No, it's just light. Like it just exists. You just exist. No one gets to conform you or confine you anymore. Award, I really just said that. Award, accept your well-earned praise. You also, I think that this praise is coming spiritually from your higher self. You feeling confident is your spiritual team praising you. And also your higher self praising you. When you feel good inside of your body, when you feel good to be alive, everyone spiritually gets to cheer for you because it's working. You're doing it right. You're supposed to be here and you're supposed to choose joy. And that doesn't mean deny yourself, your emotions. Our emotions are in orbit like the planet. So if you deem yourself a depressed person, how long is it until you deem yourself free of depression? And are you able to come back and forth? Or once you're a depressed person, do you have to stay a depressed person? And that's a very specific emotion that goes for anything, but understanding that our emotions serve as protection, they serve for reasons. They sometimes point out what needs to change, because the natural state of being is allowing. It is ease. If you don't feel at ease, it's not even about being overly joyful, but if you're not at ease, something needs to shift, okay? Something needs to have this light brought onto it so you can clear away. It's kind of like getting a stick and clearing out the spider webs. It needs to be cleared away so that you can exist comfortably. And so you may allow what you say yes to reality in any given moment. A lot of us, that's kind of pointing out dissociation. That's also why we see like the floaty figure here. Who is dissociating away from being grounded in their reality? What is making your reality make you want to dissociate? How can you help yourself change that? And then uncertainty about gender leads us to discovering masculinity and femininity. So this could mean that you are questioning your gender, that you're questioning how you identify, or this could also just mean that you are trying to understand what life is with the absence of gender, okay? When you are not so heavily defined by gender roles. If you're a woman, how much do you identify with being a woman, and how much of your time does that take up? Does that make you feel closer to yourself, or do you feel like you are just trying to be close to something because you know that you're it? Like, if you're a man, how much of masculinity, and once again, this sort of balance that I was talking about in the beginning, ease, true connectedness with nature. And I'm just trusting that this message finds the right people, because I'm not trying to be coercive about gender in any means. You're allowed to have your opinions, but when you look to nature, once again, there's not often gender roles necessarily. You see birds of both genders, both sexes will sit on the eggs. They will feed the babies. They will stand guard while the other sleeps. There's a good amount of balance, because you see each creature is made with its mate. Female and male gorillas are fucking huge, okay? They're both very large. There isn't really much to do with how woman or how man you are. It's more about the balance within you of not being man or woman, but masculine versus feminine. You can lean into either energy, and the less we associate these terms with gender, then the less we start to judge each other when we have our own relationship with femininity and try to translate it into someone else's world. If you're more allowing, and it doesn't even mean you have to change anything. Just let it be what it is. Don't push it farther. You know what I mean? If the dial is turned, don't try to prove it, or don't. I guess maybe the message again is, your relationship with masculinity and femininity is your relationship. The next person's is their relationship, but we're supposed to be allowing of reality, okay? We're allowing what is true for us, and being within this sort of this bubble. I can't help but keep my hands in that position, because you're literally manifesting the bubble you'd like to live in, whatever that is for you. That's you. But allowing things to come through and receiving these awards, that will bring this magic is kind of coming into the wand. It seems like you're sprinkling your dust. You have this abundance. You have access to magic. You just have to be intentional about it. You just have to regard your divinity and what it really means, what you're really doing with it. Why, it's kind of just being honest with yourself, being humble about what your relationship to gender is. And if you were to put yourself in a dystopian world where gender doesn't exist, okay, take out sex, take out reproduction, take out attraction, you are just existing, okay? Who are you then? What are you if you're not involved in the love/lust side of life? What's left? And that's, we're kind of coming back to, and then that comes into self-love. You find this, once again, sort of singular figure all throughout. You're learning how to be on your own. You're learning how to have sort of detachment. And I think that's what the allowing is taking your fingers or taking your hands out of what doesn't need your energy, bringing it all back to you, cutting ties if you need to, but bringing all of your energy back to you so you can discover new things about yourself, gender or not. It can be whatever you want it to, but you're going to be daring to bear all. You're going to be naked in a sense to yourself, because you're understanding like what's inside of you, this magic, this dust, this energy that can't be tied to an organ or like function necessarily. It's just the magic of your consciousness. You get to discover so much. You get to take it in whatever direction you want to go with it, and you can see it's just exploding with passion. Whatever you are passionate about, that is where your life, where your joy is stemming from. Connect to it. Yeah, I think that's all I have for you today, Pile 2. I hope I left you with a good message, and I'm thanking your guides and my guides for this message. Yeah, have a wonderful rest of your day, and see you next time.